Hi everyone. Today's tutorial is not so much of an academic one, but it is based on navigating the whole Google Classroom and Google itself, and to reap all the benefits, for students to reap all the benefits from the use of Google and some of the other apps that are attached to it, such as the Google Drive, the Google Classroom, and more so to assist students with seeing the variety of ways to actually upload their assignments, which some students are still struggling with, to see how best they can upload their assignments and be able to navigate easily. Now, different students would be using different devices. Some students use Microsoft laptops. They use Dell laptops, and you have the Apple, you have iPads, you have Samsung phones, you have so many different things that is used. But basically, what you have to do is that you have to understand that Google can interact with basically almost any sort of device. So you should try to get Google Chrome on your device. So that is the first thing that you should do. And what you have to do is to set up a Gmail account. Okay, so once you set up a Gmail account and you have Google Chrome on your device, that means that you would have that will be a huge step in actually setting up everything else to be integrated with each other, and for your learning experience to be much easier. Okay, so like I tell students sometimes, when we get a new gadget, whether it be a television or a phone, a laptop, a tablet, or whatever it is, we spend time and we go through the device, and we try to make sure that we understand the device as best as possible, because we are excited. We want to make sure that we know how to reap the full benefit of it, okay, and how to make it easy to receive calls, to send messages, to store information, and all of these things. So this is your education we are talking about. So I would expect that students will take some time to not only listen to this tutorial, but to actually and to view this tutorial, but to actually go through the steps in their spare time, and not just wait for class time to realize that they don't know how to upload their assignment, they don't know how to actually do their assignments, etc. Okay, using Google. All right, so basically, as I said before, step one, so you can obviously this is a recording, so you can always go back and listen to it, etc., or you can take notes on it, or you can set it up, or try to go through the process as I'm speaking, right? So step one, basically you have to create a Gmail account. Okay, now there are so many different other accounts, but Gmail always works better, especially in this modern time. And in Trinidad and Tobago, most schools encourage students to create a Gmail account with their names, so that they would be easily identifiable. And with the Gmail account, once you have Google Chrome on your device, thereby this is what happens. You're signing into one, you're signing to so many other apps at the same time. Okay, so sometimes people say, do I have to download Google Drive? Do I have to download Google Classroom, etc.? Not necessarily. So I'm going to show you basically what I'm talking about, right? So with this app here, we have this box here at the corner here, that is on your right hand side. Okay, so basically once you are able to see that and you click on it, now you are able to see that you have so many apps that you didn't even think about. So a lot of people take that for granted. Now this is a laptop view. Okay, now with the phone view, actually a lot of phones, even the Samsung phones, they actually come with a lot of Google apps already in what we should say a folder, right, where you have YouTube and all a whole other things, and then you can add to it as you download more if you need more. Okay, so you have things like your Gmail, which is your mail, your Google Drive, you have photos and all of these things in your phone, right? So some people, I I believe, fail to go through all the apps and all the things that actually comes with the phone. So you can always look through your phone and actually find some of these things. Now on the laptop view or your tablet view, this is what you will find. Again, once you have a Gmail account and you have Google Chrome, you automatically have these things. So if you notice here, there's Gmail on here, there's Google Drive on here as well, right? There's Google Drive on here as well, and if we scroll down, there's the Google Classroom on here as well. There's so many other apps that you can explore as well for your own personal use if needed. Okay, so there's Docs as well, Google Docs, where you can create documents, right? So again, I'm trying to point out to you the most important um, apps that you would need for classes are usually the Gmail, the Google Drive, and you will also need Google Classroom. Okay, right? Now some teachers even use Google Meet for classes instead of using Zoom. All right, so there's a variety of there's so many different things. There's even a whiteboard in here, right? And so there's a lot of things in here and there's also Google Calendar. So you can actually, if you have classes, you can actually or school, you can actually schedule your classes and create reminders, etc., for your classes as well on your device. Okay, so this is just showing you that aspect of of it, to understand that you have everything right here. So again, some students ask if they have to download anything, and the answer is really you just have to download Google Chrome if you don't have it, and then you create a Gmail account, right? And you can even use that for the younger ones who into YouTube and all these different things. Everything is integrated in Google. So you all actually use a lot of stuff and don't even realize that once you have one thing, basically you have so many different things. But let us get into the Google Classroom. Right, so I'm here on this account and I want to get to my classroom. Right, so let us say I'm going to this classroom. So the first thing that you would see even on your phone is the stream. Now you can go through the stream to find assignments that were posted, and it will be in chronological order, right? Basically, you would have the latest assignments posted at the top. But I would advise students, if you have multiple subjects on one classroom, right, that you go to your classwork and then to your assignments. Okay, so if we take for instance this assignment here, we have an argumentative essay. We have an argumentative essay here, and basically there's two ways to actually submit your essay, right? So let us look at something that a lot of students don't use, because their first instinct is to click on the assignment. So if we click on the assignment, obviously the form will come up. Okay, so you type in your email address. Right, and then you start with your answer. Okay, you begin with your answer. So we are doing an argumentative essay, so we start with our notes first before we actually do our writing. Okay, right. Right, and so we continue. And we have our points. Okay, so we can write whatever that we need to. Okay, so this, even though it started up as a small box, it can expand depending on how your teacher create the form. It can expand and you can write like a lot, right? So you can write an entire essay comfortably here. Then you click submit. Okay, so you click submit. From here you see that you can also edit your response. All right, but let us look at another alternative as well to edit your response. If you have run out of time for some reason and you did click submit, okay, right, and you need to edit your response, and you close all your tabs and you shut down your device, etc. You just go to your Gmail, right, and you would see, right, you would see the same form that you were just working on. So you click edit your response. So I'm going to go back again to show you all that. Okay, now if for some reason or the other you are out of time and you did not complete your assignment, you click submit. Okay, right, so on clicking submit, it would go through there, right, and then we say, okay, well, we don't have time today, another day we will do this, or later in the day we will do this. Okay, so you shut down all your tabs, you close your laptop or whatever device you are using, right? So another day has arrived, and believe it or not, because you have a Gmail account and you have signed in to Google Chrome and everything, right? To get to your Gmail, which is your email, you just click that button right there. So let us go back to that again to show you, right? So this is your Gmail right here. Okay, so basically you don't even have to type in Gmail. They made it so, as I said, everything is interacting with each other. So you just click Gmail, go into your Gmail, right, and our argumentative essay, Now even even without clicking on it, if you notice clearly, if you notice here, you will see edit your response. Okay, but if you click on it as well and open up the message, which was sent to you as well, so it is sent to the teacher and it is also sent to you. You have here edit your response. Okay, so once we click edit, our response, we can easily go back, and if you notice here, we have this identical form that we were working on. Now again, to remind students that if you do not click submit and you leave your Google form, all your hard work will be lost. So you must click submit. Some students have claimed that sometimes capture will come up, recapture, or sometimes it is difficult to do so. If that is the case, I would suggest that you contact your tutor and let the tutor advise you what you should do. One thing that I can advise you to do is to possibly write it out and take a picture and send it to your tutor, or you can screenshot your answer as best as possible and send it to your tutor via email. And your tutor might find some way, or should be able, because there's so many different options out there, to find a way to correct your work. So that will be the first way to submit your assignment and also to edit your assignment. So again, as we see here, we can continue with our work. We could continue with our work and write as much as we can again. Okay, so our work would not be lost. Okay, and then we click submit. Once we know we finish, we click submit again. Now your teacher would be the one who would actually be able to set up the form in a way that you can actually perform all these actions. Like you can actually submit an assignment more than one time, you can edit your assignment, all of these things. So hopefully your teacher would take these things into consideration and set up your form accordingly, unless it is a test, right? Like unless it is an end of term test, a spot test or something, this may not necessarily be so. But your teacher can actually set up your form so that you can actually be able to edit your form. You can do assignments like multiple choices, etc., more than once, etc. So you should take full advantage of that. All right. So that is one way to submit your assignments. Okay. And your email obviously would come into play a lot here. All right. Another way, and this way might be a way for students who feel that they can lose their assignments. When we say lose your assignments, we mean that you spend a lot of time on your device actually creating an assignment, and then at the end of the day, electricity goes or what have you. And as I said, the only thing, Google is really good, but with that aspect, with the Google Forms, you can lose all your work from your Google form if you do not click submit. So if you are in the middle of writing an essay and or what have you, or if you think that your device is having problems with submitting assignments, etc., there are other ways to actually create your assignments so that you will not lose your assignments, and by actually using Google and also the Google form and the whole Google Classroom, I should say. Right? So let me repeat myself. There are other ways that you can submit your assignment using the Google Classroom. All right, so if you look at this here, because I constantly ask students, do you see view assignment at the bottom of your assignment? And they keep telling me no, which is odd. Okay, but I do not know if they say no because possibly it was actually before they actually opened it up, and they assume that they would see view assignment. No, you just have to click on it once without opening the actual assignment, and right there you would be able to see view assignment. Okay, so I'm going to show you now an alternative to using the Google form, the Google form, the form that was uploaded by the teacher, an alternative way to doing your assignment. Okay, so what we have to do is click on view assignment. Okay, now obviously you can open up your assignment, so you want to see the actual question. Okay, so you can write it down or copy and paste it, right? So because we are not going to use the Google form, we are not going to use this form. Okay, so we are going to create our own form. So you now what you do is that you click on this now, which is add or create. Okay, so you click on add or create, right? So if we click on that, add or create, we can create something from our Google Drive. We can add a link, we can add a file. So in adding a file, we could have actually basically created our done our assignment on any document, a PDF or anything, all right, and actually saved it on our device, and we can actually add a file. We can add a link, we could go to Google Drive, right, or we can simply create a document, because we have everything integrated. We have everything integrated by just making those two steps, right? By just making those two steps, by one, creating a Gmail account, and two, downloading Google Chrome, and then of course signing into Google Chrome. And this will give us signing into Google Chrome on your device, so this will give us access to all of these things, right? And we will be able to integrate everything. So now we have here, and now we can type our essay, right? So we could type our essay without using the form provided, then turn in our assignment, right? So this will still be able, we would still be able to reach our tutor by working like this as well. Okay, right? So we can type, as you see here, this is an entire, you can type pages of work on this. Okay, right? So the name of the assignment and everything is already here, right? You can copy and paste the question on here if you want to, so that it will be an easy reference for you, right? And you type up your question. So in doing this, right, you would not, because it is now part of your Google Docs, you would not lose your information. You would not lose your assignment. Okay, so this is one way. So you can copy and paste questions if you have many short answer type questions or whatever. You can copy and paste it, or you can write it down and then type it up if you want, right? So you will have it in both ways, right? And then you turn in your assignment. So they would ask you to turn in your work just to make sure, and that one assignment will be, right, submitted. Okay, and your name will show up, of course, right? And you are sure, so you turn it in. Okay, of course there's a button here to unsubmit if you think that you made a mistake or whatever, but you can still reopen your document and again still continue working with it, because it is automatically saved to Drive, right? So you could request to edit, right, from your teacher or your tutor, etc. All right, so there are so many options. All right, so this was one way, using your Google Drive to actually your work has been turned in, right? But there may be, as we saw before, there are others, like you can create a document and upload it or anything like that. So these are alternative ways for students to actually do their assignments and submit it, because not everybody is would be getting through with the forms for some reason or the other. A lot of students, they lose their work on their forms, they don't know how to actually save it. But again, reminding students, if you're using the form, the one way to save it, or the only way to save it, is to click that submit button. And you can message your teacher, contact your teacher in whatever way, and let your teacher know that your work was submitted but it was not completed, right? So that you would go back and to your email, and you will be able to find that work and then edit your assignment. This is an alternative way to do your assignment as well. So this will actually show up on this will actually show up in your Google Docs. Okay, so let us see if it will be. Now we would have our Google Drive, right, with all our Google Docs. Now look at this, right? Look at this here, right? Isn't that amazing? It is right there. So you have to try to utilize all of these free things that you can actually create your work with, and be comfortable, right? To be comfortable to do your assignments. Your teacher will get accustomed to how you once your teacher is someone who is flexible, and with this whole new learning experience, will be able to still be able to get your work and correct it and send it back to you. Okay, so that assignment that was done way over here, okay, and you submitted it to your Google Classroom. It is in your Google Docs. Okay, we have a lot of tabs open, right? It is also here in your Google Drive. And let us see what will happen with our Gmail. Let us see how many different places it was recorded. Okay. Right, so you have so many different places that it has been recorded. Once you click submit, okay, right, everything is being recorded and you can edit your response. Right, so please try to utilize all the different methods, explore all the different methods, and do not think that when you go to class the onus should just be on your teacher to spend at 15 minutes or 20 minutes trying to help you to navigate through Google Classroom. Treat it as if it is a new device that you are using, a new phone, a new laptop, a new television, a new stereo set, whatever it is that you like, right? A new game. And try to go through it and see all the different things that are in there. Now we even have Google Calendar in here. Now Google Calendar has all the students. This Google Calendar actually has all the students' Zoom meetings in it, like the actual time that the student has to go to class, right? So again, using this one thing that you don't necessarily have to, you don't necessarily have to remember all these things. Everything is basically in one place, you know. It is you to acknowledge it, it is you to explore it, it is you to really understand it, just like how you would understand your phones and your television, etc. Now is the time for you to understand these things, because now is the time for online learning. Now is the time that it is critical for you to not go from class to class and still not be able to submit your work because the teacher had to try to figure out how to explain to you how to submit your work over and over again, and you are not personally taking the time to go through these things. Okay, so again, once we have a Gmail account and we download Google Chrome, I mean, look at it, there's so many different things, right? We even have news in there, we have Gmail, we have Google Drive, we have Google Meet, right? We could store all our photos in there, we have a classroom in there, right? We have so many things. Jamboard is actually the whiteboard. Okay, we have so many different things that we have our Google Docs in there. If we don't want to go to the Google Drive, we have Google Docs in there, which is also incorporated in Google Drive, right? So people, please try to utilize, and the more you use something, um, Google would remember it and they would add it as a shortcut, right? So this was automatically added. This Google Classroom here was automatically added as a shortcut because this person basically used their Google for Google Classroom a lot. Okay, so once you have Google Chrome and you sign into it and you have a Gmail account, I mean, with learning, everything is right at your fingertip. It's just for you to actually use it. So get familiar with it so that you can get to learning, right? Because the aim is that you would not be constantly confused by by you would not be constantly confused by uploading documents, and this would set you back in learning, right? Get familiar with everything so that you can actually focus on the learning. All right, so go into your Google Chrome, right? Go into it and click on this here and go into to some of these things, whether it be your Google Drive. Go into your Google Classroom and explore all the different ways that you can actually upload your assignments, etc., and get to learning. All right, so that this aspect of uploading your assignment wouldn't be a keep back to your education. So I hope that this was informative to you and it will be helpful to you so that we can get to actually learning during class time and not focusing on well, how do I upload my assignment? Worst case scenario, if none of these work, screenshot your work, take a picture of your work and send it in to your teacher's email, and your teacher would take it from there. But I mean to say, you all could actually do better. I believe that you all could do better. All right, so take care and have a good day and have a good learning experience. Focus on the learning. Try to focus on the learning and the assignments. Get the assignments done.